Alright, in this video we will be working on Project 5.7 DFS for my CIS-2650 class. Hopefully this will go a little bit more smoothly now that we've ironed out all the kinks from Project 5.6 and corrected some of the instructions there. So hopefully this goes a little bit better. But in this project we're going to set up DFS namespaces, and we're going to do that right between the two servers that we have set up. So what do I mean by the two servers that we have set up? Well, we've been working, let me drag this over here. We've been working with so we've got our two subnets, right? Well, let's do this. Let's do it this way. We've got our two subnets, right? And over here, we've got DC1-1 and DC2-1. We've also got MBR-1, and we have HPV-1. Okay, and then on this side, we've got that DC1 -2, DC2-2, MBR-2, and HPV-2. For Chapter 5 exercises, we installed file management stuff here, so DFS and NFS and those kind of things. We installed that on DC2-1, and we installed the file services here for DFS and NFS and file management and those kind of things. So these are the two servers that we're working on. And in project 5.6, we put a marketing materials folder here. Actually, I think we did that one way earlier, so earlier in chapter 5. But in 5.6, we definitely, when we corrected ourselves, we put that marketing folder over here. Okay, marketing materials. My handwriting is terrible, but we have these folders, one on this server and one on this server. So what we're going to do with DFS, right? We're going to use DFS, and we're going to tie these two folders together. So that's the essential idea of what this particular lab is going to be all about. Is going to be setting up connection between these two boxes and connecting these two folders, so that if I come to HPV2 and I make a change in HPV2, it will show up on DC2-1. And if I make a change on DC2-1, if I put a new file in, that file will show up on HPV, right? That's the goal, okay? So hopefully that helps a little bit, kind of get us a little bit of perspective as to what we're trying to get accomplished through this particular assignment. Okay, so for this assignment, like Windows Server host, that folder or that file or that computer is going to be our HPV. Okay, so anytime, let's bring this back out over here real quick. Anytime we talk about the 2019 host, we're talking about this machine here. And anytime we're talking about the VM2 machine, that's going to be this machine over here. Okay, so VM2 is DC2, 2019 host is HPV. Okay, from an instruction standpoint. All right, so on your host, click Start Server Manager DFS Management. So we're going to, so again, I'm going to have to move the, no, we'll try to do it this way again and see what happens. Get logged in. click on the machine so I can actually log in. All right. Excellent. So just double checking. If we look, right, we have this marketing materials folder here. And if I right mouse click on that folder and I go to sharing, we can see that we've shared it as marketing materials. If we go into security, we can see domain admins have full control and marketing G has modified rights, which is the same rights that we set up on the DC2-1 in the last part of 5.6. Okay, so then following the instructions here, right, and I want to reiterate, right, we're going to follow these loosely. Obviously, we're not even using the same, computer names that they're talking about, so there needs to be a little bit of flexibility here with what we're doing. So this idea that we are going to follow exactly what it says, we're going to be pretty close. We just have to make sure that we understand where we're doing things. And when we say it says type in server X, like that's not what we're going to be typing in, right? So because that's not our network. Okay, so I'm on number 1. We're going to start DFS. So we're going to go Tools, DFS Management. Okay, on number 2, in the navigation pane of the DFS Management, highlight namespaces. So if we highlight namespaces, we'll notate there's no namespaces here. Okay, and we're going to click on. We can right mouse click. No, we can't. We have to right mouse click on the actual namespace over here and click New Namespace. And then the server, right? So highlight namespaces and note that no names shared folder exists, right? So new namespaces on the namespace server page. The new namespace wizard, type server X within the server box and click next. I believe enter the name of the server that will host the namespace. So we want to do the server that we are on. So if we browse, I wonder if we browse and we just do, if I do HPV and check names, does it give me enough information? No, not really. So my server is 26. Let's do this. Let's go here. We're going to do 2650 HPV-2. That's the name of my server. Right. Enter the name for the namespace. So they want us to name it. So I'm looking at B here. They want us to name it just warehouse. Right. We're just calling this warehouse. All right. On the namespace, type warehouse within the namespace, and then click Edit Settings. So I'm going to click Edit Settings. Note the default path and permissions for the shared folder. So the shared folder is C DFS Roots Warehouse, right? And all users have read-only permissions. Those are the default settings. Click OK and then click Next. Right? So OK and Next. So we're on to C. On the namespace type page, enabled. So we have UNC that says domain-based namespace or standalone namespace. We're going to leave the defaults, it looks like. So we're leaving domain-based, right? We love domain-based. We really do. And you can see that the namespace is going to be whack-whack-usa.local whack-warehouse. Okay, so that's following the UNC nomenclature there. We're going to click Next, and we're going to click Create, and then we're going to, once that's done, we're going to click Close. So now we have a namespace called USA.local housed on this machine on 2650 HPV-2. Okay. In the navigation pane of DFS Management Tools, expand namespaces. So now we want to expand namespaces. We see the namespaces are here. Highlight. Whoa. Oh, I skipped. I'm like reading. Expand namespaces, and if necessary, highlight. Right. So we're going to click on that particular space there. Click Properties in the Action pane. So over here in the Action pane on the right hand side, we're going to click Properties, and we're going to click on the Advanced tab, and we are going to enable access-based enumeration for this namespace. So access-based enumeration hides folders in this namespace that users do not have permissions to view. So we're going to basically, based on your permissions, you can see or not see things depending on what's going on. All right. We're going to click OK on that. Then we're going to click New Folder in the Actions pane. New folder. Okay. And within the Actions pane, right, the name of this is going to be Marketing. Oh, we have templates here. Marketing Templates. All right. So we're going to add Marketing Templates to this within the namespace. Click Add. Say we're going to click Add. And then we need the path. So the path for this, right, is our local server, right? Remember we created that. This is that funky NFS share that we created that I just don't like. So 2650-HPV-2 / marketing templates. Okay. And we're going to click OK. And then I think we click OK again. And now marketing templates is in our local warehouse. Okay. Then that's number 5. We did number 5. Number 6, click New Folder. So New Folder. Now we're going to do our marketing materials. I put a space in there. Marketing materials. And we're going to click Add. And we're going to add the local version of this. So / 2650-HPV-2 / marketing materials. Okay. Click OK. Then we're going to click Add again, a second time for marketing materials. This is where we're going to tie those two folders together. So we're going to click Add. The other server / DC2-1. Oops, 2600. 2650-DC. That's the name of my server / marketing materials. All right. And we should click OK. So now I've got both of these folders attached to this name, marketing materials, stored in the warehouse. Okay. So that was 6A, B, and C. We clicked OK to close the folder window. And then when prompted, a replication group can be used to synchronize. Do you want to create the group? It says right here, when prompted to configure, click yes. Yes, we want to, that's the whole point of us creating those two folders. We want them to replicate with each other. Okay, and that's why we needed that DFS replication service installed. It's going to go through its thing. Just kind of watching what's going on here. So collecting folder target information. Should be, all right, so then here at the replication group and replication folder name page, we're just going to click next on this. This is a wizard that's going to go through. At the replication eligibility page, we can see they're both there, and we're going to click next. And then we're going to set the primary member, and we're going to set that as HPV2. So that's going to be the primary source, right? And then we're going to select full mesh. So this means everything, if we had 3 or 4 places, everything would replicate with everything. That's the idea of this. Okay, so we're going to keep that. And on the replication group schedule, where's that one? Replication group schedule, we're going to keep the default, which is replicate continuously using a specific bandwidth. We're going to use full bandwidth on this one. We're not going to do enough to bother anything. If you have a lot of stuff going on, you may need to restrict some stuff. And you can kind of monitor that with Performance Monitor later on. All right. At that point, we're going to create, and we've created this replication group. Okay, and we're going to hit close. Will not begin until a configuration is picked up by the members of the replication group. The amount of time that takes depends on Active Directory domain, replication latency, as well as polling interval. All right, so we're good. So it's going to basically, it says it's going to take a little bit of time for each of the servers to pick up that they're in a replication group and to actually start replicating properly. Okay, so if we've created this correctly, we should be able to put files in either location and they show up in the other. So that's going to be exciting if this works the way it's supposed to. I think it will. I think it looks pretty good so far. So I'm going to move on to number 7. Number 7 is they want us to go to the DFS management tool, expand replication. So we're going to expand replication, and then we're going to probably highlight this, highlight domain system in the replication. So the only thing we can really highlight is this, right? Why? Oh, and this may be a timing thing then, because if it's supposed to show this, it doesn't show. It's showing us this enabled. Here's my connections, they're enabled. You can see my sites are showing up, right? Publish the namespace. We don't have any. Those are just kind of default delegations. All right, so I'm curious now. So in the navigation pane from the DFS management tool, expand replication and highlight domain system volume, which there isn't a domain system volume. Oh, this is if I was sitting on a domain controller, and I'm not. So number 7, and it doesn't really, we don't really do anything there, right? All right, so number 7, ignore number 7. It's not necessary. I'm going to write that down. I'll update the information on the. Number 8, though, is where we want. Under replication in the navigation pane, DFS management tool, highlights, right? My domain server. Note the 2 paths of the server show up here. Okay, highlight the materials path for server X. That would be my HPV. Right? Click the properties in the action pane over here. Click properties. Highlight the staging tab and note the default location. So staging tab, default location, marketing materials, DFSR, private staging, and we've got 4 gigs or so of space there for our size. Right? We're just kind of investigating at this point. Highlight connections tab. Here's my connections tab. Select server. Right? Click replicate now. So over here on the right hand side, we're going to replicate now. So we're going to go ahead and try to override that. So it looks like it may not have synced yet. Yeah, it's unknown schedule. Let's just go click OK. Yeah, it doesn't like. I'm wondering if. So a GPO update wouldn't do that. How do you. I'm thinking out loud. How do we force the DC2 to replicate or to be included in the replication? I think that's what's holding us up right now. DC2 is not. I'm trying to just see if the standards replication schedule is successfully resumed. Alright, so now it says it's successfully overridden. So if I click replicate now, okay, so now we're getting somewhere. So I think it was a timing thing. So what I I think, you know, I went to the DC here, DC2-1, and I kind of forced the replication there by doing the replicate now. And that, I think, maybe kicked it into gear, or just I just got lucky in the timing hit, right? So I think that's a timing thing, and it does warn us of that issue up here, right? It may take some time. So, you know, at this point, like, I was getting a little impatient. I was like trying to figure out how can I force it. So I tried a couple things, right mouse click and replicate now on the DC2-1. So kind of say, hey, right, you need to be replicating. And then as soon as I did that, everything else seemed to work just fine. Do not, I'm going to remind you, because this popped up down here in the corner, do not do updates on your servers at this point. It's tend to have broken a bunch of stuff lately. All right, so we're looking back at number 8 under replication. We've gone into the staging, looked at that. We've gone into the replication, and I've forced the replication. And then it's now, right, resume schedule successful information window, click OK, click properties in the action pane. Note the replication is enabled. I'm not seeing, oh, I'm not on the right thing. Let me select the right thing, go to properties, and then you can see right here we've got the little, right, enable, we're looking good. And then there's a schedule, and then you can actually view the schedule, right, and we told it to go all the time. So we could actually, you could say, well, I'm not really concerned about you replicating on Sundays, right? It should be, oh, it's not letting me change it from there. Oh, view. Or okay, so we're doing a pre-done schedule. Okay, so what I was thinking I could do, and I would have to click on custom, and I'm not going to do that, but you can click on custom, and then if you click on any of those boxes, it flips them. So if they're blue, they're on. If they're white, they're off. So you could change the schedule if you really wanted to. We're not going to mess with that today. All right, view the tab, note the replication occurs all the time, click cancel, close the DFS window. So we should, at this point, right, I'm fairly comfortable that we've got our 2 folders set up in a data warehouse, right, on DFS, and they're sharing and they're syncing. Okay, so then they want us to just go and fire up the warehouse, right? So, so from the run command, the warehouse would be usa.local / actually, I wonder, we can do it without the local stuff, I think. So double, and then we want to do, let's just do HPV, sorry, 2650 HPV -2 / and then it's warehouse, right? Warehouse. And this should bring up, yeah, it brings up the warehouse. And so here's all of our data, right? So marketing templates, I can open, there's that file 4. Here's marketing templates, right? All the stuff that we had done before in marketing templates, okay? Now, if you remember from before, marketing materials, like all this one level down, file 1, file 2, all of those things we did on HPV. We never did anything file-wise on DC2-1. Do you remember that? We haven't touched DC2. All we did was set up the folder and give it permissions. I'm curious now. I'm going to come. This is just me thinking, right? So we're going to jump away from the presentation real fast to go take a look at this. So DC2-1. This is our second server. This is our second server as part of this replication group. Okay, that's that second DFS marketing materials. I want to log in real quick, and what I want to do is I want to go look at I should type the password in right. I want to go look at the folder, right? So if I go dir, right, there's my marketing materials folder. So I'm going to go cd marketing materials. Okay, now I'm going to go dir. On this server, before I hit enter, on this server, we have not put any files in this folder on purpose. We haven't done it, physically. But check it. One level down, file-1.txt, file2, right? Looks really similar to what's over here. Oh, looks like we're missing a file. So one of them, oh, maybe that one may be an issue because remember we have it encrypted, and there may be some issue because there's not keys. We don't have the proper keys on this server, so that's probably why that's missing. You can see one level down is there, right? One level down. So if I do a CD one level down, is that going to work? No. Do I have to put that in? I never remember how to do this. I know it seems silly, but okay, there you go. Put it in quotes. DIR, and then you can see I've got 2 level down, 3 level down. So all of those folders that were over here have replicated back to the other side. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that's there. I'm going to just right mouse click here. I'm going to go new text document. This is a test. Let's not do that. We'll just do that, right? I'm going to hit enter. You can see I'm on HPV2. I'm hoping you can see I'm on HPV2, right? I'm going to hit enter. That just created that folder. I'm going to go to DC1. I am going to go back up a level to marketing materials, and then I'm in a directory, and I'm going to see, look, this is a test.txt, right? So it's there. Pretty cool. If and you can see it's 0 bytes, right? If I come over here and let's say what do we want to do? How do we want to do? So let's create a new folder over here. So make directory just goofing around, right? Capital A. So I'm going to make a folder called just goofing around on the DC2-1 server. I'm going to hit enter. We created a folder. I go back over to HPV and look, I've got a just goofing around folder in my warehouse on the server side. If I go to the actual, right, if I go to this PC and I go to local disk and I go to marketing materials, you can see just goofing around is on my local folders there. Cool. All right, so that's working exactly the way I want to. Let me read this. I think all the stuff I just did is the things that you wouldn't have to normally do. You're going to fire up the warehouse, right? Note that you have marketing materials, marketing templates. Double click marketing materials. Note you can access file 1, 2, and 3. Optionally modify the content of each file, saving the changes when finished. Click warehouse in the navigation file bar, return to the warehouse. Double click marketing templates. Note that you have access to file 4. Optionally modify the contents of file 4, save your changes when finished. So that one is not as impressive for sure. I need to go to run, not to command. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring the warehouse back up. So marketing templates, right? It's available. I can make changes to it. No, I can't, right? I don't have permissions. We made some permission changes earlier. I don't remember which user. I should be logged in as, I have to be logged in as administrator to do what I just did. Let's create a new document, right? Call it file 3. No, it's file 7. It's fine. Fill 7. File 7. Right, created a new file. I'm curious now on this one, if I go to properties, NFS, right? This is that NFS stuff. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I would actually want to get rid of NFS. I don't think I'm going to do NFS going forward. So not worried about file 4, but file 7, I created file 7 in the, so in the warehouse, right? I can change these things. So this is what's cool about the warehouse is we can create, I believe you could create, right, a new shortcut, right? If I'm not mistaken, and then the shortcut could be to the warehouse. Okay. So I created a shortcut, I think, right? So right down here, I created a shortcut to warehouse, right? So, and I can use group policy to put this shortcut on everybody's desktop, and everybody in my company, I can click on that, and all of our file folders. It doesn't matter where they're at. It doesn't matter where they're at. I can add file folders to this from anywhere, right? And then if I want to replicate, right, I just have to have that DFS replication service on there, and we can actually have file folders. We can have copies of file folders in different places. I could put copies in branch offices, and I can automatically save updates and changes and fixes and all kinds of other really cool things out across those folders, right? Pretty cool stuff, right? I think for this one, I think that's it. So if we did, by correcting 5.6 and getting the marketing materials folders in the right place, and I'm hoping walking you through understanding that you got to change, you've got to change the names of the servers to match your servers. So you have to understand what your network is looking like and where your servers are at, right? Which is why we did the drawing at the beginning. If you understand that and you understand what it is you're trying to do, then you would know what server to, for the UNCs and all those kind of things, and where you want to house these things. Like, because if you follow the instructions and you try to put it on server X, there is no server X, right? It's not possible for you to build a warehouse on a server that doesn't exist. Okay, trying to think if there's anything else. I'm curious if I can grab folders, right, from anywhere. Like, so this is now, so at this point, like, the lab is done, right? So if you show me the warehouse and you can show me, maybe you do like I did, like, bring up DC and show me some directory stuff there, so I can see that you've got the warehouse functioning, and even like, say, maybe on DFS management, show me that we've got, I've got replication, right? So this is going to help me with replication, because if there's an error, it's going to show up here. You show me namespaces, right? So you can expand out namespaces. Like, this helps me, like that picture right there is going to be real helpful to know that you've got this project done and that things are working. What I'm curious about is if I go to warehouse here, I'm going to do one thing real quick before we go any further. I'm going to go, say, to DC1, which is on the same domain that I'm on, right? Got to do this on one of my domain controller or domain network, domain servers. It could be any domain server, I think. So this is me stepping one step past this project. I want to create, let's say I'm going to create a folder here called Carrie's Stuff. Okay, and I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to go to sharing, and I'm going to share, cancel. Let's go to advanced sharing. Share this folder, Carrie's Stuff. Let's look at permissions. Everyone has read rights. I'm going to take that away. I'm going to add domain admins, and then I'm going to give domain admins full control. Okay, so as a domain admin, I should be able to see that. So Carrie's Stuff, it's a shared folder on DC1-1. Okay. What I wanted to try, and again, I'm trying this. I don't know how well this is going to go. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to go. So here, we're going to do a new folder. We're going to call it Carrie's Stuff. And the target is going to be D2650 DC1-1 / Carrie's Stuff. And I'm going to click OK. And we can see that Carrie's Stuff is listed in the warehouse, okay, in DFS management. And then if I open up warehouse here, Carrie's Stuff is listed there. I can see it because I am a domain admin. So then I'm going to go in here, I'm going to create new folder, right? So create a folder for Star Wars, and we'll create a folder for Star Trek. Let the debate begin. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, so I created 2 folders in DFS management in the carry stuff folder, or in the carry stuff share that's located on DC1. Okay, I'm gonna go back to DC1. And open up File Manager and go to my local disk and go to carry stuff, and lo and behold, there are 2 folders that were created. Okay, so now with the warehouse, it doesn't matter where on your network, right? And you can put all your shares can all show up in one place. So all you have to do is point everybody to that one place. And because we did that, we clicked that enable enumeration early on in our setup, your users will only be able to see what they're able to access. So they won't be able to see everything that's there, but only the things that they can access. So now I don't have to map drives and do all this other stuff. I can basically create a shortcut that everybody gets, and everybody can just click on it. It could even say company data, right? And then they click on that, and all the stuff that they have access to, they have available to them, right? As long as you populate all of the shared folders into your warehouse. Okay, and that's it. Like, that's 5.7. I think 5.7 was super painful for most folks because we screwed up 5.6, and we screwed up 5.6 because I told you to do the setup on the wrong computer, right? So that's been corrected in the notes. We've also corrected the whole silly NFS thing. But if you go back and do 5.6 over, and follow, just watch the video and do it as we go, as I go through the video. It's about an hour long, right? So it's not a, you're not doing hours and hours worth of work. You're just going to go back and clean things up, fix some things. Once that's fixed, DFS works like magic, right? So this is really nice. I think it worked out really well. If you have questions, obviously reach out to me. Microsoft Teams is going to be the best way for any of my students that are current students connecting to me. In fact, if you are a CNM student and you can reach out on Teams, or just open up Teams, log in as yourself, go to chat, find me on chat, and you can ask questions from there. All right, I hope that helps. I'm going to go ahead and get this posted, and I hope you guys have, this is useful to you. All right, thanks.